Now I'll share some stories of indigenous folk goddesses and their temples. In the Vana of Dungri sits the goddess of demons, ruling over the treacherous Rotang Pass, enchanted by the mighty Bhima, who defeated her notorious brother Hidim. Hidimba became the queen of his heart and the present-day Manali. So the Hidimba Temple is a very important temple in Manali. She is the goddess of Manali, and without her, the Kulu Dashera won't commence. So every year, she goes to the Kulu Dashera, and that's the beginning of Kulu Dashera. She is also the grandmother to the royal family of Kulu. This is a very ancient temple located inside an area which falls under the Great Himalayan National Park, and every year around the month of May, the Dungri Mela is celebrated to honor the goddess. Then comes another goddess called Shavani Devi. Her temple is located in Shuru village on the Manali Nagar road. Now, this goddess is also the guru to Devi Hidimba. So there is a ritual here wherein Hidimba Devi visits Shavani Devi to sweep her floor and also have a chai with her before she heads to Kulu for the Dashera. In the woods of Shuru village, a goddess resides as the form of Kanjika Parvati. The guru of mighty Devi Hidimba, it is at her feet that Arjuna won over the Pashupati Astra. In her presence burns an infinite dhuni. On the night before Shivratri, she fasts for Bholinath. There is a very important occurrence in this temple. There is a eternally lit dhuni which keeps on burning, and it is said that the dhuni is always full of vibhuti, so it never runs out of vibhuti. The next Devi is Ma Sandhya Gayatri of Jagatsuk village. She is the meditative state of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. This ancient temple is very important because it was a part of the ancient capital of Kulu, that is Nast. It was earlier known as Nast. And I would like to recite this verse that best describes Devi Sandhya Gayatri. Gayatri yavrati Sandhya, Dvija Brinda Nisheshvita, Tatvasana Tatvamayi Panchakosandaristhira. 7 kilometers down Manali, in the ancient capital of Nast, they say there was a village with fields of gold sown by the Pandavas, abundantly blessed by Devi Sandhya Gayatri, the Dhyanarupa of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. As the root of our existence, she is the light of the Trigunas, the union of day and night, creation herself, the creator of Vedas, the energy of mantra and vak, the beholder of Panchatatvas. As Trikala Sandhya, she controls the breaths of yoga. She is the essence of life and knowledge within us. This is a very ancient temple, and it also has an idol of Devi Gayatri. It's a Panchamukhi idol, which represents the Panchatatvas. So every year, the Chacholi Mela is celebrated to honor the goddess. And a special ritual happens here before the harvest season. The seeds to be sown for the particular year is determined through a yajna. This special ritual is performed at this temple, and they ascertain a day on which the seeds can be sown across the valley. So that is done in consultation with Devi Sandhya Gayatri. Further ahead of Jagatsuk village lives goddess Docha Mocha at Gaza village. She is a form of Bala Tripura Sundari, and they live here as conjoined twins. At her Gaza Mela, there is a special ritual called burning of Mashala Jalana. This is done every year during the Gaza Mela, and it's a one-of-a-kind ritual which happens only in a few Devi temples. Goddess Docha Mocha is believed to be an incarnation of Bala Tripura Sundari and Mahakali. The month of Chaitra marks the beginning of Melas in Kullu Valley, and the first Mela happens at the Docha Mocha temple. Every year, there is a special folk ritual that happens in this temple. One is the burning of the Mashala, and the other one is a special play called Horan, which is performed by locals every year. This Devi is also the Kulaj to the royal family of Kullu. The next Devi is Tripura Sundari of Nagar village. Tripura Trigat Vandya Trimurti Tri Dasheshwari. So this verse from Lalita Sahasranamam best describes Devi Tripura Sundari. Further up towards Nagar lives a Devi of Maya. Transforming into a Makara, she wove the village of Nagar. The Kulaj to the royal family of Kullu, she is the essence of Sachidananda, the weaver of life and death. She is Rajarajeshwari and Tridevi, the master of Navarasas, the Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti and Dhyana Shakti, the sacred geometry of Sri Yantra. She is Trilokeshwari. At her feet exist all three worlds. It is in her light the divine tapestry of life and death is woven. So there's a special aspect to the Tripura Sundari temple. The traditional architecture of Himachali temples is the Katkoni. It's known as Katkoni, and in this form it's like the temple is put together with blocks of wood, stone and mud. This temple has like intricate carvings on wood, and the roof of the temple looks like a web, and that is where the lore of the Devi transforming into a Makara and weaving the village of Nagar came into existence. The next Devi is Devi Kunsum. Far away in the passes of Lahore and Spiti sits a Devi bridging the remote worlds, holding the terrain together as a stone, guarding all travellers through her serpentine passes. From devotees to HRTC buses, all piously surrender to her parikrama, for the grace of the mother can withstand the mightiest disasters. So, at Kunsum Devi's small shrine, there is a stone that represents the Devi, and this Shila is revered for its protective powers. And whenever travelers go to Kunsumla Pass, they have to do a parikrama around the temple, and it is said that the goddess protects them from all kinds of disasters on their journey. The next Devi is Ma Goshal Devi. So Goshal Mata is the mother to the 18 serpent gods of Himachal Pradesh. And the temple is situated in Goshal village. There is a temple dedicated to Nag Devta Kana and Gautam Rishi. And Vyas Rishi also sits there. So there is a small shrine with a basket representing the serpent goddess. Goshal Mata is an important Devi here because all the Nag Devtas are the guides and oracles in this region. Hence, she is highly revered as the serpent mother. The next one is Devi Markula. This temple is located in Udaipur in the Lahaul Spiti district of Himachal Pradesh. This shrine houses the idol of Devi Mahishasuramardini. The temple is a fine blend of Rajput, Mughal and Buddhist architecture. The walls of her shrine bear the carvings of three-headed Vishnu and also episodes of the Samudra Manthan. The goddess is also known as Dor Je Phagmo, and it is one of the 24 Buddhist Tantric Pithas. And every year the Markula Devi fair is celebrated to honor the goddess. The next shrine is of Devi Bhima Kali. It is located in the Sarahan village in Kinnaur, and it is also known as the doorway to Kinnaur, the spot. And the goddess guards this area, which was also the old Hindustan-Tibetan Silk Route, and it was also known as Shonitpura of the Bushar dynasty in the ancient times. They say that the gods came together to manifest Adi Shakti at this spot, and as this goddess defeated Banasura. And there is a spot in the temple wherein they say that the head of Banasura rests at her feet. And this is a very, very ancient temple, and the temple architecture is a mix of Buddhist and Hindu Shakti styles. So both these traditions are followed here. And in the ancient times, even human sacrifices were prevalent here. There is a well in the temple complex, which is where the human sacrifices happened upon the approval of the goddess. And it's an example of the pre-Buddhist and born Buddhist animalistic traditions as well as Shakti worship traditions. This temple is a fine blend of Buddhist and Hindu Shakti traditions. It was also one of the important sites for Tantric Shakti worship as well as Buddhist Tantra practices. So in terms of architecture, you will see both these influences, the Buddhist and the Hindu influences, and also born Buddhist animalistic traditions. So the legend has it that all the gods came together to manifest Adi Shakti at this spot, and the goddess was manifested to defeat Banasura. There is a spot at the temple which is where the head of Banasura rests. In the ancient times, there was a practice of human sacrifice at a well situated in the temple complex. The human sacrifices don't exist anymore, but animal sacrifice is still prevalent in this temple. And the Devi is known to be like a fierce form of Kali, and she is known as Bhima Kali. And there is a special festival held in this temple known as the Udyapan Jag to honor the goddess, and this happens in the month of Chaitra during Navratri. The next goddess is Mathi Devi of Chitkul village. High up in the last village of India, Chitkul, resides Mathi Devi, an incarnation of goddess Mahadurga. The goddess sits in one of the oldest Katkoni walnut wood shrine with intricate carvings telling folklores of yore. Legend speaks that the goddess, the consort of Lord Badrinath, blessed the Garhwal region and journeyed to Tibet before settling down in Chitkul. She arrived here from Vrindavan, and it is said that abundance and prosperity flowed into Chitkul because of Mathi Devi. The next Devi is Ma Hatkoti from Jubal village. Devi Hatkoti is also known as Hateshwari Devi and is the consort of Lord Hateshwara, an incarnation of Lord Shiva himself. This temple is dedicated to the goddess along with Lord Shiva. Her idol, made with an alloy of 8 metals, the Ashtadhatu, represents Devi with 10 hands, riding her Vahan lion. She is armed with weapons and holding a lotus flower. She is in her powerful form, killing the great demon Mahishasura. The locals believe that her idol changes expression as per her mood, from smiling to an angry, wrathful face from time to time. They regard her as Prakriti with her varied moods. Her shrine is believed to exist from the era of Mahabharata and has 5 stones representing the Pandavas. And in local language, these 5 stones are known as Devils. It is said that she is also worshipped in the form of goddess Vaishnavi, tracing her connection to the clan of 7 mothers, the Saptamatrikas. So, the Chaitra and Sharada Navratri are very special here. The next goddess is Devi Adi Parashakti. The Adi Parashakti temple is located in Chhatrari village in the Chamba district of Himachal Pradesh. She is Parashakti, the supreme feminine who creates, sustains and protects the universe. Her ancient shrine is adorned with paintings created with vegetable dye. According to folklore, there was a king named Meruvarman who once dreamt about a divine power and ordered a fine architect named Gugga to construct this temple. Gugga sculpted the idol of the imagined goddess using his beautiful daughter as a reference. Since his daughter had squinted eyes, the idol of the goddess too is squinted. Today, Gugga's idol sits beside a metal idol made with an alloy of 8 metals, Ashtadhatu. Local lore speaks of the king cutting off Gugga's one hand, yet he managed to build it with just one hand. The king did it so that no similar structure could be built elsewhere. Her shrine also has a natural spring belonging to a Nag Devta, which heals illnesses. In this temple, the Chhatrari Jatar Mela is celebrated every year by the Gadi Shakar tribes to honor the Devi. They sacrifice a part of their wealth, the dhan, or cattle, to appease the goddess. Ritualistically, 4 designated men perform a folk dance wearing wooden masks. One of the men wears the mask of Parashakti and defeats other 3 men donning masks of Rakshasas. Folk dances are performed by locals. Another ritual involves people of the lower castes wearing masks as Kapar Buddhe. The Kapar Buddhe is a bunch of people roaming around the town in a chariot decorated with Bichubuti, the sting nettle herb, as a protective kavach. It is believed that the Mani Mahesh journey is incomplete without paying homage to Adi Parashakti. During the Chaitra and Sharada Navratris, Jatars are held, a grand feast is hosted to honor the goddess. Now let's look at the festivals, indigenous traditions and rituals around the worship of goddess. Like elsewhere, Navratri is a special festival here. But along with Navratri, on the last day of Sharada Navratri is when Kullu Dashera begins. So while Navratri ends in the rest of India, Kullu Dashera celebrations happen for the next 10 days after Navratri here. So some of the common rituals during Navratri here, they are a blend of folk as well as Vedic rituals. One is sowing the zawra. Here barley seeds are sown in a mixture of soil and cow dung and placed at the altar of the goddess. And it is watered on all 9 days, and on the last day, a bunch of this harvest is distributed as prasad. Second is lighting the Akhand Jyot. A lamp is lit by the women of the house, and it is kept lit for all 9 days. And it represents the goddess. The Ghatasthapana. A copper pot is filled with a blend of vermilion, turmeric, a piece of gold, a coin, and supari. A coconut is set on the pot, and this is an edifice of the goddess. Like a lot of offerings like bangles, sindoor, the sola singar are offered to the ghata. The Bethar smudge. At the beginning of the prayers, dried juniper shrubs are burnt, and this is done to invoke the goddess. So throughout the Devi Devta tradition, when the palki arrives, juniper is always burnt, and it is believed that it invokes the spirit of the goddess and also the gods. The Kanjika Puja. On all 9 days, young girls are invited for a feast, and they perform a puja and they honor all these virgin adolescent girls. A jatar. So a jatar can be performed anytime, but especially during Navratri, there are bhandaras across all temples. A lot of families also host bhandaras and jatars to honor the goddess. Then the Jagrata. It's known as the night of the goddess, wherein folk musicians sing songs that narrate the glory of the goddess, and several dances are performed. The Nati dance, the traditional folk dance, is performed. And they stay up all night singing and dancing. Now let's look at some other festivals beyond Navratri. The Devi Melas are very important here because each Devi has her own Mela, wherein she actually interacts with the community. The Devi also dances with the folk dancers, and she meets and greets other Devi Devtas who come to visit her during the Mela. And a feast is organized and celebrations happen, folk songs are sung, and also the Dev Khel happens. The Dev Khel is the ritual wherein the goddess is invoked and she communicates to the Gur. The Gur is in a trance, and many questions are asked, and she guides the community. Then comes another festival called the Chaiti Puja. It's also known as the Raleigh Puja. This is celebrated in some parts of Kullu, Kangra, Mandi, Chamba and Sirmaur districts of Himachal Pradesh. So it is celebrated by women to find their desired partner. And it's also known as Chaiti Raleigh Puja. This happens in the beginning of the Chaitra Mas, and it is also known as Chaitrali. In Kullu, it's known as Chaitrali, and in Chamba, it's known as Dolru. Ritualistically, an edifice is made with a variety of grass for worship. In the corner of the house facing east, barley seeds are sown with soil, cow dung and coconut. This plant is symbolic of goddess Bhagavati. For 9 days, the plant is worshipped with a ritual puja and offerings. On the 10th day, on Dashami, the sprouted shoots of Jao, known as Riholi, are distributed as blessings with everyone. The Riholi symbolizes goddess Bhagavati. Young unmarried girls create statues of Shiva and Parvati, offering their prayers to them throughout the Chaitra month. The girls go to a nearby lake for a ritual bath, singing folk songs on the divine couple. They fill pots of water and bathe the statues of deities. In the end of Chaitra month, a ritual wedding of Raleigh as Parvati with Shiva is performed. They are placed on a palanquin and immersed in a river. And a wedding feast, the bhat or a dham, is served to everyone. So it's like a traditional celebration of a wedding where they enact the wedding of Shiva and Parvati. And the family deities are actually taken to the fields where a special wheat flour dish called poltu is cooked for them. So this is a very common ritual in many parts of Himachal Pradesh. This ritual has different names, but the essence of the ritual remains the same. It is to honor Bhagavati, and young unmarried girls participate in it to find a desired partner. The next festival is the Prithvi Puja. It is also known as Treval. In Kullu Valley, it's known as Badranjo, and in Chamba, it's known as Patroru. This festival honors goddess Prithvi. So she is given complete rest in this month. So agricultural activities don't happen in this month. So nobody plows the field. So all the agricultural tools are given complete rest. It is a sign of respect for earth because she blesses everyone with abundance and fertility. And during this time, women perform several folk dances and songs are sung. These songs represent fertility, abundance, and they praise the earth goddess. So in essence, the worship of Devi is a way of life for the mountain people. As this is the birthplace of Parvati, it's very common for people to worship the goddess before any other god, and it's just a way of life for them, be it in the form of Prakriti or indigenous folk goddesses, or even Vedic and Puranic forms of goddesses. The worship of Shakti is the core of Himachali traditions, and it's a unique tradition in itself. There are so many festivals that honor the goddesses. So Navratri is something that's celebrated across India, but in this state there are several other festivals that are celebrated based on the nature of the goddess, the guna of the goddess, and specific dates are assigned as per the local almanac. And yeah, so the Devi Melas are a very important aspect of indigenous traditions here. And the spirit of Shakti flows through the people of Himachal as well, because it's actually the women who are holding everything together in terms of economy, taking care of the fields, or even celebrating womanhood. And that is a beautiful aspect of Himachali traditions. So the Devi resides within all, and through the Dev Khela, the Devi is always accessible. So whether it's for an individual purpose or it's regarding a social decision, something to do with the environment. The Devis as well as the Devtas are consulted. And yeah, this is the land of the living gods and goddesses, and this Devi Devta Sanskriti is a very significant aspect that weaves Himachali Shakti traditions.